Hey everybody, welcome back to the SmokeMidwest.com YouTube channel. I'm Scott, and today I'm going to show you something about your Weber Smoky Mountain that you probably have never seen before. So in today's video, I have this beautiful rack of baby back ribs, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to hang them in our Weber Smoky Mountain, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. It's super easy, and it essentially turns your Weber Smoky Mountain into a gateway drum, a pit boss, or a pit barrel, any of those smokers that you can hang ribs in. It's just another versatile way to use your Weber Smoky Mountain without having to buy a whole nother smoker. But first, let's get these ribs seasoned up and ready to go. So I got these ribs on sale at my local grocery store. They were $6.09 for a rack of baby backs. I normally don't do baby backs, but for $6, I'm going to do a rack. So let's get them out of the package here. Let's get the membrane off and get them seasoned up. So first thing I like to do once I get the ribs out of the package is pat them dry, get some of that packing juice that came with them out of there. Flip them over here. And then I always take the membrane off. I've cooked it both ways. I've tried it off, tried it with it on there, tried scoring it. And by far, the best way I found is just to take it off. Baby backs, usually it's not too bad. Just get yourself a butter knife and go underneath the bone right there in the middle. Now that I say this, probably these aren't bad. This one's going to fight me the entire way. So that's the way it goes. Just get your knife underneath it. Then if you get yourself a paper towel, so you can grab your membrane. And if you're lucky, it'll come off in one shot with the baby backs. If you're not, you're going to kind of have to work at it a little bit. That's all right. So this one's coming off pretty good. Just kind of got to work at it a little bit. So I got about half of it. Of course, when I say it's going to come off easy, it doesn't. That's all right. Just get your butter knife, get underneath a little bit of it again, get your fingers underneath it, give it a nice pull. These things are kind of slippery sometimes, so that's where the paper towels come in. There we go. Looks good. Man, this pretty good looking rack already. I don't think I'm going to have to do much trimming, if any trimming at all to it. I think it looks pretty darn good. And there's some loose fat here on the end. Take off. Other than that, we're gonna roll with these ribs how they are. So the first step I'm gonna do, always put the Smoke Midwest all-purpose on pretty much any pork product that I do. Put it on both sides. And then, even though I do make and sell my own rubs, I always like to use other people's rubs too. So I'm gonna go with the Heat Riles Honey Chipotle rub. Pretty good rub on pork, gotta admit. He does some good stuff. Go pretty heavy on it. Pat it in. Not using a binder. I don't feel like a binder is really necessary. I do sometimes use it, but for the most part, I don't think it's really needed. So, top side, Smoke Midwest all-purpose. Other rub, Heath Riles. Press it in. So, like I said, we're going to hang these guys. And so, I already have the smoker fired up. But let's flip back to the clip and I'll show you how I got the Weber all set up to hang the ribs. So let's get our Weber Smoky Mountain fired up. I've got some Kingsford Blue original charcoal there in the bottom. And so that's what we're going to use for our charcoal. For our wood, I couldn't decide which wood to use, so I got a chunk of cherry, I got a chunk of pecan, and I got a chunk of apple, and this is all the wood I'm going to use. And the reason being I'm not going to use more wood is you're going to have a lot of the fat dripping off of the ribs onto the coals, producing some more smoke. So just a little bit of wood flavor going on. And to get it lighted, I'm going to use the Loof fire starter. The folks at Loof sent me this about a year ago, and I've been using it for a year off and on, and I'm super impressed with it. I think it's super cool. It's very well designed and it works awesome, and I'm going to show you how I like to use it. So to use the Loof lighter, I got it plugged in, and what you do is you just put the tip of it right there in your charcoal where you want it started. Go ahead and hit the button, and it's going to get hot. Now I think this is a good alternative to using like the fire starters, the fire cubes and whatnot. You don't have to continually buy those. And this just plugs in, it's super easy to use and it's fast. So probably takes about 2 to 3 minutes to get the charcoal going. So I am going to probably speed this up, but I'll let you know the total time once it's lit. So it's been maybe 2 minutes, if that, and you can see that there is some good white hot charcoal down in there, some yellow. If you do this at night, it's super cool because you can see just all of the charcoals underneath getting lit. And that's it. It doesn't take much to get it going. And you can see down in there that they're lit. It's hot. And like I said, this is a good alternative to using, the Weber fire cubes or the tumbleweeds or any of that type of stuff. So super cool. And let's get this Weber Smoky Mountain put together. So I have all of the bottom vents wide open. Just going to put the barrel on it there. And this is what we're going to use to hang our ribs in the Weber Smoky Mountain. I got this from Gateway Drums. This is what they use in the drums to smoke the ribs, and it fits perfectly on the little tabs on the inside of the Smoky Mountain. The lid fits on it good. So sweet little trick to turn your Weber Smoky Mountain into a pit barrel or any of that type of stuff where you can hang your ribs in here. So that's another way to use your WSM. I'm going to put the lid on it and let it come up to temp. And we're going to shoot for a temperature of about 250 to 275. So our smoker is up to about 208 degrees. I'm using the Fireboard 2 wireless thermometer to monitor the temps on it. So what I'm going to do is start dialing back the vents a little bit. I'm going to put those back 2 vents about halfway shut, and then leave the front one wide open, leave the top one wide open. And once it hits about 250, I'm gonna start dialing them back a little bit more, because my goal is to get the smoker to settle in about 275. So the Weber Smoky Mountain's all ready to go. It's set about 258 degrees. Like I said, I'm shooting between 250, 275, probably closer to the 250 mark. But if it gets over that, no big deal. So we're gonna hang these. I got the hooks that I think these came with my pit barrel, or they came with the rack. I don't remember where I got them, but I have some hooks, and I'm gonna hook it in the meatier end of the baby backs. And I like to go behind a bone or two. So we got 1, 2. I'm gonna go in between the second and third bone from this angle. Just go ahead, poke it right through in the middle. I can find the bone. There we go. So we got them there. Ribs are looking good already. Let's get them on the smoker. Smoker's up to temp. The rack's in there. It's just as easy as getting them on the rack, letting them smoke. Put them right there. I got my wood here. As I mentioned earlier, I got a piece of apple, pecan, and cherry. Just gonna put those right there on the coals to get that good smoke going. I'm gonna let this run, like I said, in between 250 and 275. We'll check them in a couple of hours. And I got the smoker, it's running about 260 degrees. I got the back 2 vents closed and the front one just cracked open, and this front one, or the top one, wide open, and we'll just kind of maintain it as we go to keep our target temperature. So just another quick note on the Loof fire starter. It's got a heating element there in the end, so obviously when you hit the button, the heating element heats up, but there's also a little fan in here, so it's pushing air over that heating element onto your charcoal. And so in the instructions, they're like, keep it right next to the charcoal to get it going, and that'll like light the charcoal, and then you put it a couple inches away, and that hot air that's coming out of the lighter is just going to fan that fire and get it going. It's pretty, I don't know if this is new technology or not. It's the first time I ever used an electric charcoal or fire starter, but this thing is very, very well designed, and I'm telling you, that whole process to get it going, no more than a couple of minutes, so it's super quick, super efficient. The ribs have been on the smoker about 2 hours. Let's check them out. Temperatures have been holding steady in between 250, 275. It's at 268 right now. And let's take a look at them. They've been on about 2 hours. Let's use our hanging tool here. They're looking really, really good. Excellent color to them. So I'm just going to spritz them down with some water and apple cider vinegar to help keep them moist, because we're not going to wrap these things at all. We'll get the other side. Looking excellent. Here's a good shot of them, the color. We're going to hang them back up, let them ride. The ribs have been on a total of 5.5 hours, so let's check them out. We got some nice pullback going on. Beautiful color. Nice dark mahogany. Let's check for tenderness. I bet these are done. And I would say these are most definitely done. The probe goes in and out with no problem whatsoever. We're going to do a temperature. It says 192. 199 there, but the probe's going in and out with no problem. They're definitely tender. So I'm going to take these off, put them on the cutting board, wrap them in foil, let them rest for a little bit. Then we're going to slice them up and try them. Our ribs have been resting for about an hour. Slice into them and give them a taste. They
look great. They feel nice and tender. They smell amazing. I'm excited to give these a try. Just gonna flip them over here. Just to cut them on the side, follow the bone down. The bones aren't very straight, but that's all right. Cutting nice and tender. Feel good. Let's give this one a try. Nice clean bite on them. Come off the bone great. Excellent smoke flavor. There's just something about hanging ribs just much different than when you're making them just normal, flat on the grate. These are great. Hey everybody, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.